What is this? Oh, was that even you that raced in these races? Or was that somebody else? I don't know. Was that you? Or did you somebody else using your key? Interesting. Your fucking name should be marked out of this shit right here, bitch. What up, my dudes? Make MXM great again. So I made a video on this about a year ago, kind of like whenever first started really doing the whole Erode thing, and they still haven't made MXM great again. So that's why I'm in here making this video again, because we still haven't gotten anywhere with this whole Erode thing. If anywhere, we've went backwards in more ways than we've went forwards in this past year in 2019. So I just wanted to get on here and kind of explain some things, but you know, in your own mind, you would just imagine that RF would at least have their tracks in 2019 somewhat close to the fidelity and graphical level of the Nicholas Sandbox Supercross track that was literally made in 2017 by some random kid that's not involved with the pro racing whatsoever. You would think that by this point we would at least have stadiums that looked this good. You know, we would at least have ground decals and ground objects and stuff like that that looked this good. But we don't. It's like we're still running off of this older MX simulator look to everything in the pro racing. Like, let me just give you a little example right here, okay? So, some of you guys that kind of known this game for a while, right? Just think about sort of how the 2011, 12, and 13 Supercross tracks look in this game, right? You know, kind of how the stadiums look, how the decals look, and all that stuff. They're all kind of similar, right? They all kind of have their own... that's like, you know, the 11, 12, and 13 Supercross tracks as their own sort of thing in MX Simulator. But as soon as you go to the 2014 tracks, it's like everything completely changes. The stadiums change, the ground decals change, everything about it changes. It's like a whole different evolution. It's like a whole different step in MX Simulator track designs, right? Going from the 2013 Supercross tracks to the 2014 Supercross tracks. And to me, it's just not really felt like we've made another step since 2014 in this game. It's like, this is the next step right here, RF, and you should have done this 2 years ago. But this right here is the next step. This kind of stadium, these kind of on-track overlay decals, these kind of objects, this sort of fidelity and graphical and object modeling and all that kind of stuff, this is where you should be at this point. Like, it's honestly a disgrace that the 2019 official RF Pro Supercross tracks look like they're half of the, you know, quality level, half of the visual quality level as the Nicholas Sandbox Supercross track. Like, what the hell? Why are we not to this level yet? I'm so confused. Like, what? Why do I still feel like I'm riding on a 2015 track in 2019 whenever it comes to the RF Pro Supercross tracks? Like, why does it feel like that, RF? You need to start putting the effort in, start putting the time in, really advance all of this. And good God, man, I can't tell you how pitiful it's been with the blank-looking, Play-Doh-looking decals, because they try to make it to where you can actually see a road better. There's another aspect that they basically, you know, totally make one other aspect of the game completely suffer just to make the Erode feel 5% better or look 5% better, right? But they'll totally kill the entire ground decal looks to everything, so it looks like you're riding on a completely fake-looking, like, on-track decal of a track, right? That's why they did that in 2019, so you could see the Erode better. Oh, my God. Like, it's like they're doing the definition of one step forward and two steps back when it comes to pretty much everything with Erode, right? It's like they'll take one step forward, then two steps back. Then this other thing over here, they'll take one step forward, then two steps back, right? And it's just like not going anywhere. It's not getting anywhere. Like, but it's just so funny how you can go to this track from 2017, Nicholas Sandbox, right? Hell, I sponsored this track, right? Gave this dude some money to put my tough blocks on it. Best investment of my life, right? But somebody's being lazy somewhere, and it's obvious at this point. It's just straight up obvious. Like, you could have this screen up here. Look at how badass this screen looks. Like, Oh my God. Why is that not what every single screen in the game of the pro racing looks like in the modern day? Like, what is going on? That actually looks like a screen in the game. God damn, that looks so good. But either way, that could be like changing and could be like showing past champions and doing all that, right? It's just like there's so much potential for this game. And look at how good it can look when somebody really puts the effort in. Look at this right here. Look how good pre-made ruts can look when somebody puts the effort in. I promise you, a road and MX simulator couldn't make ruts that good if it tried. Like it will never make pre-made ruts this good right here, ever. It's impossible. Literally impossible. That right there to me feels 10,000 times better than a road ever felt on any Supercross track ever before. You see what I'm saying? So, good God, bro. Okay, so let me just give you a little bit of evidence, right, on what I'm kind of getting at here. So you guys know I've been getting on my server every night for the team tryouts. We've been back on the 2017 Supercross and motocross tracks. Everybody's been loving it. We've just been getting in there, Noah Road, acting like it's the good old days of MX Sim, right? Been getting damn near a full gate of people constantly randomly joining the server, right? It's not just people from my team, tryouts and stuff, and my team. It's people from random people just seeing it on the server list, right? We'll have a full gate because of that. So just a night ago, I thought, you know what? Let's just hop on those 2019 Supercross tracks for a night. Just change it up a little bit, right? I swear to God, we couldn't even get more than half a gate full on the newer tracks. I don't know what it was. I don't know why it was like that, but, I got in there with all my team some of my team tryout dudes, the dudes that happened to be on that specific time or that specific night, right? There might have been like 11 or 12 of us, right, that hopped in there on the 2019 Supercross tracks. We ran like 3 or 4 races and nobody was joining. Like nobody was just randomly joining. If that don't tell you something, RF, I don't know what will. And then I swear to God, as soon as I put it back on the 2017 tracks, it was like, it went from 11 people to 20 people, like, boom, just like that. I mean, seriously, like, people love that old school MX simulator. They love that feeling. They love that simplistic, just hop on a track that was not made for a road and not designed around a road. And you can just have fun on it. You don't have to worry about all the bullshit. You don't have to worry about if Joe Blow, server owner knows how to put the right amount of a road for the right amount of riders and the right amount of laps. There's no worry. It's simple. It's simple. You hop on there, you ride on the track, you have fun. There's nothing else to it. It's just that simple. Okay? And you guys remember me talking about, I mean, I was shocked as hell. Like, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I was thinking, like, oh my God, man, like this many more people want to ride on the 17 tracks than they do the newer 2019 tracks. It was like night and day different. I'm dead ass. Like, I couldn't believe it. But either way, so you guys remember me talking about this whole road thing this whole time, talking about how, like, they designed the tracks around a road to try to make it work with a road, okay? So it's like you either have one of two things. You either have basically a road design track or you have a non-road design track, right? And it's really hard to ride on a track that's designed for a road without a road because it doesn't even really work, especially in motocross. You know how I've been going on about all the super flat track and bullshit they did at the beginning of this motocross season, basically throughout the entire motocross season 2019. It did get better towards the end, but still, I mean, they're literally flat tracking on the first lap. There was like barely any ruts, basically no roughness. Like, what the hell? And so it pretty much eliminated the entire like single player aspect and random online server aspect of any of those 2019 motocross tracks. And so then, I mean, it's impossible to have a motocross, an AMA motocross track without a lot of pre-made in this game. I feel like we've, all learned our lesson on that one, RF, but even with Supercross, okay, this is where it gets interesting. This is where I started really noticing, noticing it being the same way in Supercross. Like when you go in there on a 2019 Supercross track with no Erode, it feels like shit. It's boring as hell. The berms are too rolled off. The berms are too small. The whoops are too small because it's all designed for Erode. You know what I mean? It's like they're trying to design it for having that changing over time terrain deformation, and it just kills every bit of the single player and the random online server aspect and the just being able to hop on there real quick and no Erode and just have fun on the track. There's none of that anymore. None of it. Even on the Supercross tracks, because they even designed those around Erode, right? You don't, like in the 2019 Supercross tracks, you don't see the same size berms in the corners because they're trying to roll them off because they know it's going to make a hell of a singular, berm rut with a road on. Having 22 people on the track, it's going to make a hell of a berm, so they can't even make a big berm, or it's just going to make an absolute wall and a half, right? But what that does, it totally kills all the single-player aspect, kind of like with the whoops, right? The whoops in 2019, they roll them bitches all the way off. It's like you're playing on a 2013 Supercross track whoops or some shit in this weird dimensional mixed world. Like, it's like you're taking super easy whoops and trying to put them into a 2019 track because you know you're going to have the Erode on top of it. And it's the same, kind of the same way with, like, I don't even know how to explain. All I'm saying is it's either you have a track that's made for Erode and you run Erode, or you have a track that's not made for Erode and you don't run Erode. There's no in between. They keep trying to do this in between. They keep trying to make it work for both, and it's not working, RF. Like, it's not working. Stop doing that. Like, straight up. I mean, that's precisely what I'm saying about the whole thing of, yeah, you can run Erode in that pro race, but then you better well forget about doing single player on that track or ever having any longevity going back and playing that. That's all, folks. A little stutter vibe there. You better forget about going back and playing on that track back, after a few years down the line, because you're not going to have Erode on in single player, right? Forget about going in there on an online server, because most people don't even want to fuck with a 6-lap race with the Erode on when they can't there's no telling what it's going to be on, either way too high, way too low. Nobody knows what the hell it's going to be on. Oh, God. It's like, seriously, RF. Now, you may have some dudes in the pro racing, and I'm not trying to question this. You may have some dudes on the pro racing that are really into the whole Erode thing, gives them this extra challenge, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? I'm not trying to question that. You may have some of them on there, right, that are like that. But if you took the mass audience of MX Simulator, the overall general player base, I guarantee you would have 1/4 of the community that would actually really, think Erode needs to be in the game, really want Erode, and then the other 3/4 of the community would feel like would just be better off without it and just go back to the good old MX Simulator no Erode days to simplify all this shit again and not have to continue to go through this beta testing Erode, like killing the game off. I guarantee you 3/4 of the overall general community, not the pro racing community in itself, but 3/4 of the general community would think that way. Might as well just go back to the good old days. I guarantee you it would be that way, RF. I mean, it comes down to you got to do something because you're losing people. People have stopped playing this game for just because you started doing the Erode in the way that you did it. Okay, it's just like I've always said. Don't get it twisted and confused. I'm not sitting here saying never have a terrain deformation in a motocross game or never have a terrain deformation in a simulator. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this specific terrain deformation that MX Simulator has is literally a fucking joke beta test and should be 10,000 times more tested and reinvented and worked on before it's even thought about putting into a full-blown professional, series or anything like that. It's kind of like one of those things, it wasn't even made for the game, and they're trying to force it into the game. Put it in MX Simulator 2, if that ever becomes a thing. Don't try to change the game so much. You can't do that. And I'm telling you right now, RF, if it wasn't for this game being so goddamn good, just in the base level of how good the bike feels and how good the physics are and all that, you'd already lost everybody. There wouldn't be nobody else playing this game. The only reason you still have people is because of the game itself in general, like default, how good the bike feels. That is the only reason why you still have people playing this game. You wouldn't have had this many chances to fuck up this much if this game wasn't literally the greatest motocross game anybody has ever seen in the history of mankind and will ever see. You see what I'm saying? You wouldn't have had these many chances. So you need to learn really quick at, like, you know, you would have thought if this Erode thing was really needed in the game and everybody just loved it, you would have thought that, you know, you would have had like double the amount of people trying to qualify in pro race and race in the amateur class and all that. You'd have thought you'd had at least double, right? If it was really helping the game, or, you know, at least have more people, not literally like, you know, can't even fill up a full gate on half of the goddamn Supercross rounds in the 450 RF Pro class, can't even fill up the gate in the main event. Like, you know, it got insane there at the end of, I think it was like 2018. Oh my God. They couldn't even fill up the gate in the main event. It's like, what the fuck? Like, it's the writing on the wall. It's the proof in the pudding. You don't have more people playing the game now that you started doing all this terrain deformation shit than you had before you did any of it. I'd argue that you had damn near double the amount of people playing this game than when you started doing this whole road terrain deformation thing. And I know, of course, you started charging people for the pro racing, which that kind of killed off probably like a fourth of the people that would typically be trying to pro race and qualify and do all that. But the Erode in the way that you forced it, and the way that you've had it way too goddamn high in Supercross over and over and over and over and over again and just shoved it right in everybody's face, you've killed off at least another fourth right there. So you have half of the amount of people pro racing and trying to really, you know, consistently play this game and get involved in this game than what you had back in 2017. I swear to God, it's that way. I swear to God, it's that way. Like, I'm not kidding when I say that. And all these people that are like, expecting, they say, well, if they just didn't have any Erode in 2020 Supercross, then people would be upset about that because they expected an MX Simulator now or whatever the hell. What the fuck are you guys even talking about when you say that? This is a game from 2007, okay, and had no Erode terrain deformation system to it to speak of, really. It was literally a joke. You went in there and like played on it in single player. You couldn't even play on it in multiplayer. It would completely lag the computer out. The way it made the ruts and stuff was god-awful, unrideable. It was put into this game to where you could go in there, ride with this Erode mode on. It would make some ruts on a track, like in the corner, only in the corner, and it would make them super janky, super shitty, and you could go back in there and smooth out those ruts that you rode on and created and formed from the Erode, and then save it as a fucking custom track, save it, okay, and then that was the track. It was never meant to be this actual progressive, changing over time terrain deformation system to the game. It was never even meant to be that. Some of you guys don't even understand that, but that was never even what the Erode system was meant to be in MX Simulator. That's really why I feel like it's called Erode and it's not called like terrain deformation. You see what I'm saying? Because it really was only meant to create custom tracks with ruts on them. But still yet, it was supposed to be made like that, but then you were supposed to go in there and smooth out your ruts so that they didn't have that janky-ass Erode MX Simulator feeling to them, right? But then they throw it in the pro racing and just expect it to work, and it never worked. It never worked. I mean, there might have been one or two rounds where they just got lucky as hell, and it was just the perfect Erode setting, and it was somewhat bearable. But when you talk about in a general overall scope, scale sense, it's been way worse for the game than it's ever been, like, made the game better or helped the game or helped grow the game or get more people involved. Like, if anything, you've just killed off double the amount of old school people than you've ever gained new people because of it having a terrain deformation system to it. I'm telling you right now, like, people don't expect that in this old of a game. They don't even expect it. And you didn't even have it in the game until 2018 in the actual pro racing. So it's like, what? I mean, no cush to the dirt. Zero. Zip. When I say there's no cush to the dirt on MX Simulator, I literally mean it is fucking concrete. There is no softness or movement to the dirt whatsoever. You know how in real life, how you can actually move the dirt a little bit, go in a rut, it moves a little bit, it kind of forms with what you're doing, and you can kind of you got loam, you got sand, you got movable dirt, you can push the dirt. There's none of that in MX Simulator. And they thought a terrain deformation system would actually work in this game. Yet there is literally no cushion to the dirt whatsoever. None. And yes, is that more on JLV than it is RF? Yeah, it is. But that's what I'm saying though. If there's no cush to the dirt, you goddamn better not ever try to put a terrain deformation system in the pro racing when it doesn't have cush to the dirt. That's what I'm saying. They're not even remotely in the realm of have tested this enough or have designed this to where it needs to be to actually be decent in the pro. It's not even close to that. It's literally not even close to that. Oh, they just basically killed 2 years of pro racing on MX Simulator. I swear to God, that's in the overall grand scheme of everything, that when you go back and look at it, that's what you're going to think of. Is 2018 and 19 were just throwaway years for MX Simulator in the pro racing and the amateur racing. They're just throwaway years because that's pretty much what they were, what they are. I don't know how you can even really disagree with that. If you can't even fill up the gates, if there's literally 38 people trying to qualify in a certain class every round after you get, obviously after you get off the first 1 or 2 rounds, because everybody's hyped up. They're curious to see if they've fixed the erode, and then they realize it's still the complete shit that it's always been. So then they stop racing 4 or 5 rounds in, and then you literally can't even fill up a gate. That kills all the pro racing to the game, because then it's if you win now when there's not even a full gate, that don't mean shit compared to if you won back in 14, 15, 16, 17 when you had 70, 80 people trying to qualify in each individual class damn near every single round of a series. You see what I'm saying? It's just a completely different animal. So what they're doing is they're killing a lot of their consistency of the pro racing really feeling like a professional, and when you finish in a good position, it really gives you a feeling in a you kind of jot down your name in the history books. Well, now that they've thrown all this janky ass erode in there, literally unrideable lag. I have never seen so much lag in a pro race in my entire life in this game as I did the first 4 or 5 rounds of the motocross season this year. Literally unrideable lag. It would totally freeze the screen up for 2-3 seconds at a time, and then you would skip to a whole nother area. Oh my God, talking about beyond unacceptable for a series that you pay for. I can't even explain how unacceptable the conditions and the extra lag and the 40 people with the road way too high on a flat track, the amount of bullshit, it's just unexplainable. When it comes to optimization, there is none for Erode in MX Simulator. Have they tried to work and fix and improve on that side of it? Yeah, they have, but you've already trashed 2 years of the pro racing in the process of doing that. That's what I'm saying. That's precisely what I'm saying. Is Erode better now than what it was at the very beginning? Yeah, I guess you can say that in a certain sense, but they're not even in the ballpark yet, in my mind, whenever I think of what it should be to be, accepted in the pro racing. It's not even close. And they've killed off so many people because they've just given up on it. They've given up on what Erode is going to be like, what they want it to be like, and it just never ends up being what they think it should be or what they want it to be. And then it's just we go in there and outvote Erode on the forums, say we don't even want it in the game anymore. Literally, that's what the vote was on the forums for Erode. And that was do you want it completely out of the game or do you want Erode? There was no do you want it completely out? Do you want it just a little bit, or do you not want it at all? So even more so, if you had it like that, the people that would want literally so smidgen small amount of a road that you could barely see it, and the people that didn't want a road at all, I guarantee you it would be 3/4 or more of the community would think that way. I guarantee you they would, RF. 3/4, not even half, way more than half. There's only a handful of people that really want a lot of a road in this game. And if they tell you they want that, they've never fucking pro raced really in a long super amounts of a road in a race and on a supercross track or on a motocross track where it just gets absolutely retarded. They've apparently never really rode on very many races like that in this game, or they wouldn't be saying that. I promise you they wouldn't. And then you've got the people that don't know how it was back when it was amazing. They don't know how the racing was back then. So then they've got this weird, all they've ever known is a road in MX Simulator. And they've kind of grown up the past 2 years riding with the road on MX Simulator because that's what the pro racing is. So then they don't even know how it was before. They don't even know the magic of it. Obviously, they're going to fucking vote for let's keep a road because that's all they know. They don't even know how it was before. I swear to God, you go ask Hunter Root, you go ask Tyson Fresquez, you go ask the old school dudes, right, that really was deep into the pro racing before road, and I guarantee they'll tell you shut that shit completely off and or have it so low that you can barely even notice it. I promise you that will be their opinion on a road currently in MX Simulator. The people that was really the main pillar dudes in the pro racing back in the day before a road, they don't even pro race anymore. Wonder why that is, RF. Because the game fucking sucks now. Did you ever think about that? Oh, no. It's if this was such a good change, such a good evolution and all that, I guarantee you Tyson Fresco would still be playing, Hunter Root would still be pro racing every race. You'd still have all them old school dudes. I don't hardly see any of them anymore. They've damn near all left. It's all newer dudes in there now, a road specialty, a road specific dudes that are racing now in the pro racing. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. I can't even explain it. But either way, oh my God. And of course, we all know RF is still going to run a road in 2020 in some kind of way. We all know they are. Let's stop kidding ourselves here. Let's stop hoping and dreaming that they, actually get their shit together and take it completely out, at least for a couple rounds, see how it goes. No, they're not going to do that. But, let's just quit playing around. They're not going to do that at all. Oh, man. But either way, so, just saying. And how much more can I prove it? I go on there and run the 19 tracks. There's not a soul randomly joins that online. Then I go on there and run the 17 tracks, and it's I've got a full gate instantly with random people. They love this shit, RF. They love it. Why are you running from what everybody loved about the game? I'm so confused on. See, I don't even know where this came from. This is what I'm demortally, utterly. I can't even fathom where they're even coming from with this. It's so bizarre. It's almost they're acting like the game wouldn't have made it another year if they didn't start doing all this road. Or it's the game was for sure going to die if they didn't start doing this road. Where the hell did that even come from? I'm genuinely so confused by that. Because there wasn't a soul sitting there saying, damn, we need terrain. I never remember hearing anybody saying, damn, we need a terrain deformation in the pro racing of MX Simulator. Damn, we just really need that. I mean, there may have been one or two people kind of saying that would be cool to have in MX Simulator, but it wasn't a much needed thing or we have to have that or the game's going to die or that was all on RF, mainly Checkers because, he's proven to have great decision-making skills and, great professionalism, to everything that he does, right? Just top-notch, just absolutely outstanding citizen, you know what I'm saying? And he was the main head honcho to this entire Erode thing. And I remember him saying multiple times on the forums, yo, MX Simulator would have died if we didn't do all this Erode shit. Yo, MX Simulator needed Erode. It needed all this. What the fuck? I mean, man, it's sad. It really is. It's just sad. And I understand. You go in there on the first 3-4 rounds of 2018 Supercross with the road. They first start trying it. Everybody's optimistic. It's maybe they can fix it. Maybe they can change it. Maybe they can make it better. But the problem is they just really haven't hardly done that at all. They hardly ever turn toned it down or turned it down like it should have been. It was literally 3-4 times too high in both Supercross seasons, both 2018 and 19. It was seriously 3 or 4 times too high of an Erode system to be like actually workable and feel good on MX Simulator for the type of ruts that it was making. It was just making walls everywhere, huge, one singular berm every corner, no ruts going in a straight line. Like, not a whole lot of ruts in the whoops. It wasn't making those 3, 4, 5, 6 individual little ruts that you would actually see on a real-life Supercross track. No, motherfucker, it wasn't like that at all. All you guys say, well, it's not realistic unless you have a terrain deformation. Like, it's just making the game more realistic. Well, it's not realistic whenever it can't even make a fucking rut even remotely how it would be in real life. That's not realistic either. Like, use a little bit of common sense, people. That's not even realistic either. Just because it's creating a rut over time does not mean that the game needs that or has to have that or it's better than how it was before or it's even remotely realistic. That's not what that means, dude. Like, at all. Not at all. And, oh yeah, the other little aspect I wanted to explain about Supercross with Erode specifically is it's totally killed all the actual, like, quad skill gap. You remember how fun that was? Some of you guys that pro race back in the days of, like, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, the golden era of MX Simulator, right? Some of you guys that raced back in those days, you know, Supercross, one of the biggest skills to it was being able to hit monster-ass lines, at least in the 450 class. Like, there was always 1, 2, 3 lines on every track that you really had to get the speed, you really had to get the perfect landing, you had to get the perfect pop off of the jump to be able to hit some kind of, like, bigger quad rhythm or, and, you know, some tracks, especially some of the 2014 ones, I remember those, you know, some tracks had more, some tracks had less of them, but there was always at least 1 or 2 of them, right? And the more you could consistently nail that huge-ass rhythm, that huge-ass line every lap, it was a game changer in how your finishes were going to be on the actual pro race. It was a game changer because you could actually hit it every lap if you were really good at the game and really consistent at the game. But the problem was whenever they added the whole terrain deformation Erode system, it killed every bit of that. So what would happen was the first lap of the race, you could hit that big quad line or whatever it was, but then 2, 3 laps in, there was so much goddamn weird-ass, janky, bizarre, eroded terrain ruts everywhere that you could no longer hit that bigger quad line. It wasn't even feasible. It wasn't even, like, remotely, like, consistent whatsoever. It just killed every bit of the bigger jump line, the bigger... So then it just turned into this, let's hit these standard-ass triple on a 450 in every goddamn section because the ruts are way too gnarly. 4 laps into every single main event. Like, that's what it turned into. So it killed all of that hitting a quad every lap for 20 laps in a row. That takes some serious-ass skill. That whole aspect of the game's totally gone with the Erode. The whole, like, actually having beefed up gnarly-ass whoops, being able to hit those really hard, that's totally gone because they roll off the whoops to try to design it around the Erode, really nailing it into a flat berm super hard and sliding that back end around and carrying your speed. All that shit's completely gone with the Erode because they smooth out the berms, and then 3 laps into it, you've got one singular rut like you're on a goddamn motocross track, one singular berm rut in the corner. If you don't go in it, you're too slow. It's one-lined as hell. All you can do is go in one rut in every Supercross corner, and if you don't, you're not going to be able to go very fast. So it changed everything from this, like, hit a big berm, smooth corner, slide the ass end around, which was always has been the Supercross skill in hitting, like, quads consistently and all that. That's always been the Supercross skill and what made you good at Supercross and MX Simulator. But with the Erode and the way that they have it and how extreme they have it, it makes to where it kills every bit of those elements and aspects of the game. So there's no more, like, really quadding every lap. There's no more really sliding into a berm really hard and then sliding your ass end around and carrying speed. There's none of that. They basically just made their Supercross tracks motocross tracks. That's all they've really done. Like, and then they get to motocross, smooth everything out, make it a highway, no roughness. So then it's like you've got to try to create the Erode over time on the track from nothing, and that worked out real good, as we all seen. See what I'm saying? By it's more trouble than it's ever been worth, you know? More trouble than it will ever be, like, positive, beneficial to the game. Ever. Ever. Save the game before you don't have another chance to. RF. Save the game while you still have a chance. Because give it another 2-3 more years of this horse shit, it'll be over. It'll be over. It would have been over had this game not already been the greatest motocross game of all time. It'd already been over for you. By how stupid are some of the decisions you've made in the pro racing. It had been done. You got lucky that you get another chance in 2020 to do this shit right. You got lucky. Don't fuck it up.